Hey, Radians here. Today we are diving into building a new work budget tool for the productivity app Increaser. This feature allows you to set weekly work targets, review previous week's work hours, and track average work durations for weekdays and weekends. It provides real-time updates on your current week's progress, making it an invaluable resource for monitoring your work habits and discovering strategies to boost your productivity by working smarter, not harder. The front end of this tool is developed using React, while the backend is powered by NodeJS and DynamoDB. Also, the Increaser source code is private, all reusable components and utilities are available through RadzionKit repository. Our feature is thoughtfully divided in two main parts. On the left side, you can adjust your work budget using sliders, which provide an immediate preview on a bar chart to visualize what your week might look like. On the right side, the detailed report is segmented into three sections. The first section compares your total hours worked this week to preset budget. The second section displays the average workday and weekend hours over the last 30 days using colored days for visual representation. The final section shows a bar chart of your work hours from the past 4 weeks. To ensure these components are evenly distributed across the interface, we are utilizing the uniform column grid component from RadzionKit. By setting the mean width attribute, we ensure that the layout remains aesthetically pleasing and functional on mobile screen, adapting to a single column layout as necessary. We encapsulate both sections in a panel component from RadzionKit for structured layout management. To visually separate them, we assign a different kind properties to each. The report section is set with a transparent background, effectively creating a subtle contrast that enhances the overall clarity of the interface. At the top of the Manage Work Budget component, we display a title that includes the work budget selected by the user. To convert means into a readable time format, we utilize the format duration utility from RadzionKit. Most users are unlikely to track more than 10 hours per day, aligning with Increaser's philosophy of not encouraging excessive work hours. To accommodate this, we use a slider component named Work Budget Input. This component accepts a value in hours, an on-change callback for real-time updates, and name attributes for labeling, and a color in HSLA format. For a deeper dive into HSLA color formatting, check out the corresponding video in the description. The work budget input components acts primarily as a wrapper around the segmented slider from RadzionKit. This variant of a slider is designed with clear segments, making it particularly suitable for scenarios with a relatively small range of values. Users can easily count the segments to gauge the value quickly. The work budget input enhances the setup by adding a label to the slider, making it more user-friendly and informative. To construct this custom segmented slider, we utilize several components from RadzionKit. At the core is the press tracker component, which accurately tracks the user's press position on the slider. For more in-depth information on press tracker, check out the corresponding video in the description. Additionally, the invisible HTML slider component is employed to enable native keyboard interactions while remaining visually concealed. The visual segmentation of the slider is achieved using the uniform column grid component. This component forms a CSS grid with a 1 pixel gap between each section. Sections are dynamically colored based on the current value of the slider, creating a clear and intuitive visual representation of selected values. To efficiently manage slider interactions without overloading the server, we use the input debounce component from RadzionKit. This component delays the on-change callback until the user stops interacting with the slider for a specified interval, typically 300 milliseconds. This approach ensures that server updates are only made after the user has finished adjusting, reducing unnecessary network traffic and enhancing responsiveness. Below the sliders, we display a bar chart representing the 7 days of the week starting from Monday. We fill the workday bars with the same color as the workday slider and the weekend bars with the same color as the weekend slider. This visual setup makes it clear to the user how changes in the sliders affect the overall work budget. For a deeper dive into bar chart implementation, check out the corresponding video in the description. The work budget in our system comprises two fields: workday hours and weekend hours. These are stored within the user entity in DynamoDB in a flat structure. This design choice simplifies the process of updating individual fields, allowing for more efficient and straightforward database operations. The frontend updates the workday hours and weekend hours fields along with other user fields using the usUpdateUser mutation hook. This hook performs an optimistic update to the React state before sending the request to the server through the updateUser operation on the API. This method ensures a smooth and responsive user experience by reflecting changes immediately in the UI. For a deeper understanding of how to efficiently build backends within a monorepo, check out the corresponding video in the description. With the work budget management configured, we can now turn our attention to the detailed 3-section report, visually delineated using the separated by line component from RadzionKit for clear separation. The first section, encapsulated within the current week versus budget component, displays two cumulative lines on a chart. A half-transparent line represents the expected work hours based on the budget from Monday to Sunday, and a solid line shows the actual work hours corresponding to the current day of the week. Users can hover over the chart to view detailed stats for a specific day, with default stats presented for the current day, ensuring a cohesive and intuitive user experience. To maintain consistency in titles across the page, view the section title component in the current week versus budget component. The chart requires a fixed width, so we measure the width of the parent element using the element size array component, which ensures the chart fits perfectly within its allocated space. To learn more about how this component works, check out the corresponding video in the description. To improve the alignment further, we add a small spacer to the right of the chart, providing a balanced visual layout. Our comparison chart component leverages a reusable component designed for creating line charts. While we won't delve into each component specifics here, you can find a comprehensive guide on how to construct line charts without relying on external charting libraries in the corresponding video in the description. Before displaying the report, we need to fetch data for both lines. The useWorkBudget data hook retrieves a cumulative array of expected or budgeted work hours for each day of the week. To ensure consistency in time format across both lines, we convert the data to minutes using the convert duration utility from RadzionKit. Users track data is structured as an array of sets, each containing a project ID and start and end timestamps. To calculate the total work hours for each day, we employ the useCurrentWeek minutes worked by day hook, which iterates over these sets and tallies the total work hours for each day of the week. For those interested in a deeper dive into the time tracking implementation at Increaser, check out the corresponding video in the description. The selected data point represents the currently highlighted weekday, which defaults to the current weekday. We use the hover tracker component to monitor the user's mouse position and update the selected data point state accordingly. To clearly indicate which day is selected, a vertical line is displayed on the chart using the current day line component, and the corresponding weekday label on the x-axis is highlighted. To accurately position y-axis labels and align two-line charts, we must normalize the data using the normalized data array utility from RadzionKit. This utility takes an object containing arrays of numbers and outputs the same object with normalized arrays. The normalization process entails finding the maximum and minimum values across the arrays, calculating the range, and then scaling each value to fit within a normalized range between 0 and 1. This ensures that all elements are properly aligned and displayed correctly on the chart. To assist users in setting a realistic work budget, the second section of the report displays the average work hours for each day of the week over the last 30 days. We differentiate workdays and weekends with distinct colors to simplify identification for the user. For visualizing this data, we employ the bar chart component once again, this time omitting the labels to maintain a clean and focused presentation. While the second section of the report highlights the average work hours for workday and weekends, the third section presents an average of the entire week along with a bar chart depicting the total hours for the last 4 weeks. In both sections, if there is insufficient data to display a comprehensive report, a shy info block will appear, subtly informing the user of the lack of data. That's all. If you like this video, please like and subscribe.